Living in America in 2025 feels like you're trying to breathe while someone's hand is over your mouth and they're charging you rent for it. As soon as you get paid, it's gone. You buy groceries and the bags are lighter. You fill your tank and the needle mocks you. Food's up, rent's up, insurance, utilities, coffee. Even your damn toothpaste is up. Everything's up except the paycheck. Oh, and everything's also smaller. Shrinkflation? Yeah, that's the way they rob you while smiling in your face. You're not imagining it. The box is smaller. The portions are skimpier. The price is higher, and you're supposed to eat it with a smile. This isn't bad budgeting. This isn't laziness. This is a rigged game where everyone at the top profits and everyone at the bottom is a slave. We're getting taxed, drained, and blamed every step of the way. If you feel it too, you're not crazy. You're just living in America in 2025, and it's brutal.
You nailed it. Everyone is struggling. And the worst part about this struggle is that it's starting to feel permanent. I make way less money in real terms than I did 5 years ago, and I'm working way more than I ever did. My pay didn't go up to reflect the changes in cost of living, and I live in a city with one of the highest rates of inflation in the entire country for the past 5 years running. I went and bought groceries today, got 3 things: salt, shaving cream, and a salad kit. These 3 things cost me $10.31. $10 and change used to buy breakfast at the local Cuban restaurant, but not anymore. Speaking of food, I'm basically a vegetarian now. Not by choice, but by economics. I cannot afford to buy meat at the store anymore. I can't afford to go to restaurants. I'm not dropping $100 on a meal for 2. I can't go to the movies. That's way too expensive. I just work, come home, and then try to build something on 2 different side hustles because I'm trying to get out of this. I'm trying to escape this. I can't take it anymore.
Good day, everyone. It's 2025, and for millions of Americans, something feels off. You're working harder than ever, but still falling behind. Your paycheck hasn't grown, yet your rent has. Groceries are more expensive, and healthcare is out of reach. At the same time, the job market is colder, harsher, more competitive than ever before. So what happened? Today we are going to explore why wages aren't keeping up, why the cost of living keep rising, and how the job market is leaving millions out in the cold. Let's start with wages. From the outside, it may look like wages are going up, but they're not keeping up with inflation. In fact, when you adjust for inflation, the average American worker's income has remained flat or even declined for the past 2 decades. That shows that the average hourly wage for the year 2000 was $23.48, and now the average hourly wage for 2025, the real value, is $23.91. That is less than 2% growth in 25 years. While housing, healthcare, and food prices surged, wage growth remained nearly stagnant. And the result, you can afford less today with the same effort. Take a look at this video.
Why does it feel like you're working harder than ever and still broke? Yeah, well, it turns out it's not just in your head. Back in the 70s, if you worked full-time at minimum wage, you could afford a home, a car, maybe even a vacation. Today, you're lucky if you can cover rent and gas. Forget the vacation. That's just a fever dream at this point. Meanwhile, worker productivity has gone way up. You're doing more. You're making more money for the company. But your paycheck? It's been plain dead for decades. Now, where's all that extra money going? Well, it's not magic. It's just trickling up. Corporate profits are at a record high. CEO pay is up over 1,000%, but somehow they can't afford to raise wages. Wild, right? Apparently a livable wage would just ruin the economy, but billion-dollar bonuses, totally sustainable. And again, this isn't a glitch, and it's not.
Not to mention, with wages being where they are and the cost of living so high, no gas, work, clothes, makeup, wear and tear on your car, wasted time and money. This is what people are basically seeing. This is why people are so frustrated about not being permitted to continue to work from home. Because not only have wages been stagnant over the last 45 years, after the pandemic, we saw record inflation while companies were going like, oh my God, guys, we totally can't afford to give you a raise. So people made over that period, even if they were getting their little piddly 2% raises, they were losing money. And so being able to work from home made up the difference. And now that people are going back to the office, in a way that maybe they weren't able to really see and feel before. People are seeing just how bullshit and expensive it is to have to take yourself back into the office. Just how much extra money per month out of your pocket having to return to office is. So if I don't remember the numbers exactly, but I want to say total inflation from like 2019 to now is like 23 or 28%, while people have been getting like 1.5-2% raises during that time, if they got anything at all. Wages were already bad in 2019, right? They weren't good. Cost of living was already high. And now it's exponentially higher. Rents have gone up 50% in that time, if not more in some places. And people are realizing like, oh my God, yeah, now I'm recognizing that $6,000 a year I was saving by not having to drive to work was one of the things that was allowing me to stay afloat. And so not only do they not want to give you raises while whining about like, oh my God, we really can't afford to, when they did record profits year over year.
The cost of living is the total money it takes to live your life, and in 2025, it's outpacing wages at every turn. Let's break it down. Housing. The average monthly rent in 2020 was $1,200, and the average rent now in 2025 is $2,100. That is 75% increase in just 5 years. Food. Egg prices up 80% since 2021. Milk, bread, meat up 25 to 40%. Childcare. National average for daycare in 2025, $13 per year per child. It doesn't matter how careful you budget. If the essentials are unaffordable, you're underwater before you begin. And while the cost of living rises monthly, most wages are locked in annually if you're lucky enough to get a raise at all. Take a look at this video.
Why is no one talking about how serious the cost of living actually is? So we pay like a really cheap amount of rent compared to like all the other rent I see, and we're a family of 6. We pay $9.50 rent. That's cheap. We're in Missouri. It's like not some nice new place or anything. It was actually built in 1890. My husband is working 3 jobs right now. We buy absolutely nothing that we don't need. And we actually go without a lot of things that we actually do need. I feel like if you're able to do anything that's not just surviving, then you got it good. I feel so sad that I didn't appreciate the times where we were able to actually have fun at this point. So much has changed in the past few years. Like, what? I just really, really want to know. How is everyone surviving? Is everyone working like 24/7? Because that's what my husband does. And I'm just home with my little kids all the time. It's kind of like depressing that we're never together as a family. So
Guys, y'all ain't gonna believe this freaking crap. Me and my husband just left the grocery store, walked there with not even 4 bags, and paid over almost $300 and something. Everything has just went up double. Like, what the heck, man? This is getting crazy. We can't even afford groceries anymore. My husband brings home not even $500 a week. And we can't afford this freaking crap. And we went to fill out for freaking food stamps to get help. They denied us. They said he made too much. Off of not even $500 a week. That's crazy. That's ridiculous. We can't even get help. But that's not the point. My husband, he works. And I can't work. This is getting out of control.
$700. $700.05. That is what I just spent at Walmart to buy groceries for my home, to buy our essentials. Like, I didn't buy anything wild and crazy and extra. The only thing that I would say that I bought that was extra was I bought a couple of those cheap t-shirts that are like the $5 t-shirts in the kids section because my daughter loves them. 2 of my daughters love them. And then I bought a pair of $7 black shorts for my daughter because she needed some. So that wasn't even...
As we all know, the job market is a battlefield, and if you're out there job hunting in 2025, you're not alone. and you're not imagining things. The job market is brutal. Even high qualified candidates are finding it difficult to land a stable job. There are fewer roles, more applicants, and increasingly complex hiring process. That shows that the average number of applicants per job is 250 plus, and the average time to hire is 6 to 8 weeks, and the percentage of jobs paying a living wage just 35%. What's making the job market worse? Mass layoffs in tech, retail, and education, AI and automation replacing entry and mid-level jobs, gig economy expansion with no benefits or stability. And this affects everyone, from Gen Z graduates to boomers who can't afford to retire. Let's watch this video.
At this point, I think I'm just gonna sell feet pics online for money because the job market right now is shit! I'm currently looking for a job and I don't have that much experience, so I'm just looking for an entry-level position, okay? Nothing too crazy. I'm like looking at these entry-level positions. Let me know why one of them said 8 fucking years of experience. 8 years? You see, I'm no mathematician, but I graduated from college 2 years ago, and the last time I checked, college was 4 years? So 4 plus 2 is 6, right? So the extra 2 years would have meant that I would have been in high school. 8 years of industrial experience, girl, I was still busy learning what the nucleus of a cell was. Like, you mean 8 years of industrial experience? No. Wait, but hold on, there's more. The tomfoolery doesn't end here. Nope. All of a sudden, all companies want to release ghost jobs where they just leave the position, but they never intend to fill it. So it's basically just rotting up there on the job board for like 6-7 months, and people are applying, getting their hopes up, and trying to get a new job, but clearly that job isn't meant to be filled. So like, why is it still there?
I am still shocked how many people in my comment sections are underestimating how cooked the 2025 job market is. I see people saying things like, everybody's hiring, just go get a job at McDonald's, or the unemployment rate is the lowest in history. And the truth is, it's just not what it's like. If you're applying for corporate jobs, you need to apply to hundreds, if not thousands of those positions, and you're likely only going to hear back from a few companies. Now, if you get into an interview process, you are going to notice that you're going to have to go through a lot more rounds of interviews, like 7, 8, 9 rounds of interviews. You're also going to notice that the interviews get spread out over a longer and longer time period. Instead of it being a 2-month process, now it's a 3-month, 4-month, even 6 or 7 months worth of interviews. And if you're one of the lucky people that happens to get an offer, do not expect to get a high offer right now. You're probably going to get lowballed because they know if you don't say yes, they have 4 or 5 other people that will. The job market in 2025 is absolutely brutal.
For many, gig work has become the only option. Uber, DoorDash, Instacart, it offers quick cash but little else, no benefits, no paid time off, no healthcare, no job security. It's marketed as flexibility, but in reality, it's desperation disguised as opportunity. And for those in the traditional 9 to 5 jobs, burnout is rising. Why? Because one person is often doing the work of 3 with no raise in sight. Take a look at this video.
Working for companies like Lyft and Uber is a scam. People refuse to admit it, but it's the truth. Let me explain. The gig economy doesn't exist to offer people flexible, low-commitment jobs. It exists to make things cheaper for the next generation of tech companies. Rideshare drivers are independent contractors. That means companies don't have to pay them benefits and they're legally unable to unionize. The model also shifts a lot of the risk of the job onto the contractor. The companies pay above market rates knowing that drivers will not properly account for the long-term cost of running their car into the ground. The flexibility of the gig economy comes at a steep cost for workers. Working for Lyft and Uber is a scam. It may seem like you can make a lot of money, but it's not true. The gig economy doesn't exist to offer people flexible, low-commitment jobs. It exists to be profitable for the big tech companies. Rideshare drivers are independent contractors. This means companies don't pay them benefits and they're legally unable to unionize. The companies pay above market rates knowing that people won't account for the long-term cost of running their car into the ground. The tax write-offs, they rarely work out favorably. The business model is not sustainable. Most of the problems it solves are for the people who use the app, not the people being used by it.
Many ask, how did we get here? The answer lies in decades of policy neglect, corporate greed, and a shrinking labor movement. Minimum wage hasn't been raised federally since 2009. Corporate profits hit record high every year, but worker pay barely moves. That shows that CEO to worker pay ratio is 399 to 1. Real productivity has increased by 62% since 1979, but worker compensation has only increased by 17%. In simple terms, you are doing more but getting less. So what can be done? Change is possible, but it takes more than hope. It takes action. Here is what could make a real difference. Raise the federal minimum wage, tie wages to inflation, strengthen union protections, regulate gig work standards, and push for universal health care and childcare. These aren't radical ideas. These are common sense steps to stabilize lives and rebuild the middle class. And to wrap it up, you are not alone in feeling overworked, underpaid, and overwhelmed. Millions are struggling, and not because they failed, but because the system is failing them. Share this video, talk to your coworkers, organize, vote, demand more, because survival shouldn't be a luxury, and working full time shouldn't mean living in poverty. Thanks for watching. Bye.